Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Europe race. I'm Nathan Garrett coming at you from Zwift Community Live headquarters. We're going to be out on the New York course 2118. Jesper last week a little bit was asking, what year is it on the New York course? I believe it is 100 years into the future is where we're going right now with the A and the B category race out on Zwift. 6 laps, train reverse, going to be 22 miles, 14 kilometers. It said that's a little off, I think, in the description. It looks like that's what it says actually in the A race. I'll show you what I'm looking at and why Nathan's making a mistake there. But at 22 miles and 14 kilometers, I'm pretty sure that doesn't work out with the math there, but we'll see if we can get KISS to maybe update the description there. But it does look like we've got right now 70 racers, just over the top of being inappropriate there, it looks like, as we're about to head into the racing. Let's take a quick little look at some of the riders that have signed up with about 50 seconds to go to the start. It looks like top dog on the day as far as the skill points go at zwiftpower.com. It will be Leandro Messanillo, the frog, riding for Team Draft. Breg Bergen as well as in there for Vikings. He's currently second overall in the skill rating that is signed up today. Jep Tobel, Stevie Young is in there as well, it looks like, for innovation, looking for a sprint most likely and not falling off the train, hopefully. Simon Nielsen and Zaki Jesper Adaman. Tom Grimshaw, 40's in there as well. Dan Fleeman from Dig Deep Coaching, ex-professional rider from Pro Tour Racing, actually, in real life. I'll be watching out for him as well. Just to name a few of the favorites. Mike Davis is out there, it looks like, from Team Experimental. Shout out to him. Johnny Rocket is there as well. Team Finesse, new team out on Zwift. Let's jump right into the racing as riders are jumping out with the usual crazy fast starts that we do see at the beginning of these races. Looks like right from the get-go we do have Fusion here with T. Firmling making his way to the front of the pack here. Now a lot of Wahooligan kits, it looks like, showing up on the day. Now I wonder if that is a newer team that is using that kit out on course, and it looks like that will be the Team Fusion actually that is jumping into that Wahooligan kit. Cool to see ECT showing up. Coming out of Denmark, looks like most of the flags for that team is going to be a Danish flag, so perhaps the country of origin there for the team manager, or perhaps only Danish riders there. Maybe a real life representation in Zwift here for a team. Justin Purificati showing up on the day for Team ODZ. Be watching out for him. One of the first winners of a CVR event actually is showing up on the day. Him and GP Llama, Shane Miller himself, did go head-to-head in Las Vegas last year. Be watching out for Llama here, or not for Llama, for Purificati, maybe for a W. We'll have to see. A lot of Purificati has made a lot of the finals, actually, so I'll be watching out for him. Knows how to race Zwift. Been out on the circuit for quite a while, representing for ODZ. Might have his work cut out for him, though, today, as I'm not seeing a whole lot of ODZ jerseys in and amongst the group here, so it might be a difficult day for him. As far as team tech is why he'll have to cover all the moves himself, as I am not seeing any ODZ jerseys up in here. So for those of you just tuning in and unfamiliar with what Zwift is, we may have a few jumping in here going, what is going on? Are these real efforts from real people? Are we just watching somebody push buttons on a controller to speed up or slow down these avatars? No, this is real efforts from real people pressing these avatars forward with the power you are seeing in the upper left-hand corner, as well as real heart rates and cadences that you are looking at. So the dynamic algorithms in the game are responding to the power being put into actual trainers, actual bicycles on site at these each one of these person's houses or wherever they may be at that they are riding a bicycle that's communicating with the game, actually. So real efforts pushing these avatars forward. Looking toward the front of the pack now, the attacks, the thing about this course is it almost forces everybody to attack consistently, because from what I've seen time and time again, the power outputs on this course are absolutely insane. I'm always seeing somewhere 4.5 to 5.5 watts per kilogram at the front end of the A category race. I believe this course just comes at them so continually that it does end up like real crit racing as far as the continual moving forward or you are moving backwards field that you do have in real life crit racing, actually. So looking through, going to see what the comments are saying. We do have social media integration. Hi, Nathan. John here. I'm friends with Jesper Anchor. Thanks, John Roden. Good to see you there. Just so you guys know, John's here and he is friends with Jesper. Good to see John hanging out in the broadcast. We'll use him as an example. If you do want to jump into the broadcast, make sure to do so. Great little comment here coming from Alan Lowe, actually, and his picture will jump in right here. And the donut layer. Good to see the donut layer. They're coming from Alan Lowe from Team Finesse, showing us his Zwift setup there. So if you want to show us your Zwift setup, you want to show us some results you've gotten from Zwifting, whatever it is, you want to throw some media at us, you can see how Alan did do it there at Z Community Live over on Twitter. If you also want to comment or ask some questions in the broadcast over on Facebook, we can bring those in as well. If you are watching on a streaming platform like Twitch or Mixer or YouTube, go ahead and use Twitter, and we'll be able to pick up on your comments a little bit easier. If you do want to directly interact, ask any questions, let us know who your favorites are going to be. Anything like that will work out by doing so. In with the B category as well, we do have B category racing today. Maybe be able to pick up some of the other categories as they do finish up, but we will be following along with the B's as well. Beezer is in the house. Kim Beezer, good to see that she has shown up, actually, racing amongst the B's here. We're going to be following along with Beezer. If I'm correct there, that is her. I do believe it is, and good to see that she's jumping in with the B category. You're going to show the rest of these boys how it's done. Hoping that she does place fairly high today. I'm going to see if there are any other women out on course today as well. Hopefully we'll be able to see a race between Beezer and a few of the other women that may have shown up on the day. We'll keep eyes out on the ZwiftPower.com results as we do go through to make sure that we follow that race as it does develop here out on course. Finesse definitely showing up in force today, it looks like. Good to see. We do have A. Barry here up on the front, right along with, it looks like, Hogstollen riding for the Vikings out of Norway. B. McGlue, always a force in these races. Micro, and then it will be, it looks like, Merrill riding for Kiss here as well. Looking through a few more of the names that we might want to watch out. We do have Rasmussen here riding for Vision Cycling out of Denmark. And trying to see if there's a couple more of the favorites. It looks like Seabees are here. Now, is this most likely the husband? So husband and wife here racing together out on course for Team Finesse. Good to see. We'll see if they can pull some tactics off here. Beezer now making his way to the front with Davies and another rider for innovation there on the front end in that Alienware kit. As you can see, it looks like they are trying to break things up a little bit here in this B category. 5.3 watts per kilogram is fairly solid, actually, at the front end of a B category race right now. Looking through, let's jump back on over to the A categories. We are starting to see a couple of riders making their way to the front for some attacks, it looks like, as we did see one. I believe there was a little bit of flurry at the front a moment ago. It has calmed down just a little bit. It is A. Whittam here now calming things down on the front. Lawlor is there as well, 4.1 watts per kilogram, 142 beats per minute. You can see that things aren't really putting too much pressure on any of the riders just yet now. A couple of falling off the back, though, as you can see, and we are waiting for a couple of these little climbs. You know, it's a lot of punchy sections of the course here. Now, what is interesting to me right now, I'm wondering if Vegan Cyclist, who is out here racing right now, the Vegan Cyclist, it looks like he may be live as well. I'd be surprised if he wasn't live. Let's go ahead and double check over at YouTube. I'm going to see if he's also got a stream up. It'd be cool to see if he does, and we could have some live shots maybe of what the race looks like from his perspective. I know he was streaming on Twitch for quite a while as well, so maybe a couple of little searches here. I'll double check and see if perhaps he's out there racing live. I'm not seeing anything live just as of yet. Maybe he's live over on Twitch, though, as well. If anybody can find it, let us know. I'll give the permissions there for some links. It's pretty cool to see. Pretty good following over on YouTube if you haven't checked him out before. And he's made some pretty awesome inspirational videos as well about his journey becoming a better and better cyclist, actually. So Johnny Rocket's up in there, one of the founders of Team Finesse, always good in a sprint. We'll have to wait and see if he can pull it off today. Fleeman, as we said earlier, from Dig Deep Coaching. Be watch out for him, as I think he's getting in shape as we get into the Zwift season here, racing almost every week, it seemed like, as of lately. So showing up for the broadcast, it seems, and good to see him out there hammering away. It does look like Bergen, he's been a force every single week for the Vikings team. He is ranked third highest in skill points, I believe, maybe second or third highest in skill points on ZwiftPower.com. No, second highest actually, with 7,420 points riding for the Vikings, actually. So Greg Bergen, I'd be watching out for him. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of his past results here over the last couple of weeks and see if he's been able to make good on some of those points he has been earning. WKG League back on the 28th was able to take a W. Doesn't look like he's had too many W's recently. Back on the first in the Kiss Europe race, he took a 22nd place. We did broadcast that race, was unable to be a part of the sprint at the end there. Maybe just going to try and get away here and not leave it up to a sprint, as it looked like that might have been the situation that put him on the back foot, maybe waiting for that sprint and just wants to get away here. 4.8 watts per kilogram coming from Bergen here. D. Evola here looking to try and chase things down a little bit coming out of Belgium. Fleetwood now making his way to the front there from Vision Cycling. This is going to be a more, this is going to favor Fleetwood a little bit better, this kind of a course. Not so much of a climber's course, a lot more of a puncher's course, and Fleetwood might be able to hang on if he plays it smart till the end. But as things do ramp up, a lot of times unable to hang on to the continued attacks into that 6, 7, 8 watts per kilogram, as things tend to go for 30 seconds plus later on in these races. Let's go ahead and see how things are going on with a noob question here coming from chat, actually. And it says, noob question, how do we find out about these races with the community live? EST Wilson, appreciate the question. I actually was going to mention this this week. The schedule will be released shortly after this broadcast later tonight. We had failure to bring laptop traveling actually this weekend. And so all it was is that our schedule did not get updated. It will be updated tonight. You can always find the schedule pinned to the top of our Facebook if it is current, or over on our Twitter page, pinned to the top of the Twitter page. It essentially, though, is going to be the same as last week with one added program, actually. So same as last week as far as the schedule goes. You can find the schedules every week on our Facebook or on our Twitter. Easiest place to find them. So Wilson, thanks a lot for the question there. Always head on over to those places to find out what our schedule will be over here on Zwift Community Live. Great new programming coming your way. I'm going to wait for the announcement as we're still solidifying the time slot for this week. But it looks like we will be having Greg Leal on board with some awesome In the Pens podcast live. So that's going to be exciting. Most likely going to be launching that this week. So be on the lookout for the time slot that's going to be taking up. So, yep. And DD is on. We're getting questions. Excuse me. We're getting questions from a couple in the community, and Russ Crowder's letting us know that double draft is on for the KISS races. That's something new that has been implemented recently for KISS racing, actually. So if you do not know double draft or regular draft, some people are calling it, because it's essentially a little bit more like in real life, where you can rest a little bit more in the draft. Does give you a few more options with the saving up of memory. Fusion here looks like have coordinated an attack here, most likely sitting in a Discord channel with this kind of attack. The two Danish riders here, Firmling as well as Adderman, off the front. Actually, this is a full-on team attack. The entire team is going 11, 12 watts per kilogram to start, then 8 watts per kilogram. What a response here from Fusion. Not going to play nice at all today, and I love to see all of the blue hooligans off the front here. 7 watts per kilogram with a couple of aero power-ups. For those who don't know, that does reduce the aerodynamic drag on the riders, actually, out here on course, and it looks like that is definitely working with a 2-second gap. Now the question is, will they shut the door for those who cannot make it on to the front? Knudsen here trying to go along with it. Lursveen as well, coming from the Vikings team out of Norway. Adderman here now maybe going to be the one who shuts the door for the rest of the pack here. Vegan Cyclist is trying to go along with it, it looks like here. Now Stevie Young, knowing that this might be a threat. Innovation now trying to come across, it looks like 76 beats per minute, 625 watts to try and close that gap. It looks like Green Hog now as well. The Dart now, seeing this as a threat, is going. The big names are starting to make their way to the front, and it looks like the creme of the crop now, letting it be known who they are. Johnny Rocket now trying to go right along with it from Team Finesse, maybe sensing this isn't going to go anywhere and saving some of that energy rather than wasting it to close it down. Trusting perhaps Bard as well as Vest to close it down. But Fusion, if he's smart here, will drop his pride and close the door and just follow Johnny Rocket rather than pull him along. And it looks like Dig Deep Coaching here going to be straggling off the back here. Dan Fleeman, can he close it down? 400 watts to try and hold on to that wheel right in front of it. Looks like Huvelaar as well, coming out of the Netherlands now, trying to close that down with him. Metcalf is here. It looks like Fremley now moving backwards and not shutting the door, actually going full nuclear, it looks like, in the legs, not able to hang on. Talbot now from ODZ, Pierre Ficati hanging on to his wheel. Talbot going to try and bring the favorite forward, perhaps, if Justin isn't in any kind of shape right now. Perhaps maybe after his regular season break, as he does race professionally, for an elite team actually out of Canada. So I'd be watching for him maybe making a rise back into Zwift racing as we go into season, unless there's some hidden fitness we don't know about from cyclocross racing or something else. But I have a feeling maybe just jumping back into racing to start building up the fitness as he heads into his base season for next this winter and spring coming up here. But Pierre Ficati sitting in, it looks like, going to be able to make it with this group. The gap is 2 seconds. It looks like Perks here is going to be the one pulling things back. 5.2 watts per kilogram coming from him. Larson, usually never one to be caught out. 6 watts per kilogram, not an orange numbers jump. Going to bring the pack all back together. Still looking at about, it seems to be probably 50 riders or so in this group. So plenty to try and take down that W today. Hasn't really been able to shed too many of the riders. It was a good attack by Fusion there. Very exciting, actually. Love to see some more of that, but they needed to make it a little bit more tactical. A couple on the front there, really push the pace, work together, 2, 3, or 4, maybe decide. A lot of times you need to decide who is going to be the ones, and then let 2 or 3 slide off the back at 4 watts per kilogram. Let 3 or 4 go at 6, 7 watts per kilogram while they're hanging on, start rotating. You want to make a team effort like that happen. You got to get the 5 seconds and then start rotating fast, 6, 7 watts per kilogram on the front, while the ones that are using that double draft are sitting in, waiting for their turn at the front, while the others do back it off slightly, make the pack come to them and slow it down, keep on closing the door on the front end of the group. It doesn't look like that worked out, though. We do have, it looks like, though, Price here going from Fusion. Again, Fusion definitely countering their own attack now, making sure that everything's extremely difficult the second that it all comes back together. And that's the perfect timing on it, though it is. Well, maybe not completely perfect, because perhaps just enough time to get the heart rates back down. If they all go together over and over again like this, it may not play out completely in their favor. Liam Bard now making his way to the front. Race WBR, it looks like, or Race 3R, the new branding on that name. Still riding with WBR as their supported charity, but the new branding there on the team here. Bergen here, Talbot now, as you can see, we're able to bring back ODZ, who do have 2 riders in there. Grimshaw now, it looks like, making his way to the front. And watch out for Grimshaw, always a threat in these races, riding unattached, it looks like here. Currently holding on to the fastest lap, actually, on the reverse here for this course. So pretty cool to see that he was out there hammering it already. See Ward make his way to the front. Haven't been able to mention him too much here so far. So a couple of these unattached riders going to have their work cut out for them. It does look like one rider did fall off the back. I am seeing some green back there. Perhaps Davis from Team Experimental. Or no, that's actually Angara with the green back there. Just making sure that we have the broadcast continually out on course. We are getting a little bit of cheering going on here. From the peanut gallery, as you can see, Neil Richards cheering for Race WBR boys. We do have, it looks like Brian Schulten saying, I think this is what DD could do. Real team tactics, exciting to watch. Brian, I'm actually with you there. If we do get some solid team tactics, people do work together in a way with enough riders to put the pressure on and start working together off the front. But you have to have a coordinated effort off the front. Got to get enough riders to go with it and really make something happen. We haven't seen too many teams able to coordinate enough riders, it seems like, in an attack to make something happen. We did see it a couple weeks back, though. Some late attacks that you usually do not see stick, actually, that did end up staying away, and it did look like it had everything to do with the double draft and the ability to rest and pull through. And so there was a group of 3 or 4 that did get a solid 15 seconds in the final lap a couple weeks back, and it did end up with just them staying away. Usually the blob, the pack, is able to bring things back together, but not that day. So we'll have to see if we do see something similar on the day today. And looking out for a couple more. Jesper Anchor in here saying hype. Wilson, no problem with the thanks there. Lion hype, where we've seen Greg Leo in here. No, the hype about Greg Leo and In the Pens is what we're talking about there. If you weren't here for the announcement, we will be having In the Pens live podcasts getting plugged into the schedule. We're still trying to find the slot exactly when it's going to be happening, but be on the watch out for that. Otherwise, this week's schedule is the same as the weeks prior. We'll release that shortly after broadcast today. Looking through some more of the comments here. That was a great move, Russ Crowder. Thanks for jumping in here. I'm going to see if there's any chat over at any of the other streaming platforms as well. We are keeping an eye on them as best as we can. The best way to interact, though, over at those platforms is going to be through Twitter. We'll be able to pick that up very easily through our chat app. 39 riders left in the A category. Russ is letting us know. Thanks a lot, Russ, for the update there. And moving forward to the front, we are seeing an arrow power up here, actually, from Fusion again. Definitely going to give this team most aggressive riders on the day. Fusion again out of Denmark here, 119 RPMs actually. Price Pearson killing it here. MD from BRT, I think solo from the BRT team from what I've seen so far here, but MD always a threat, and a lot of times if he can set up the sprint correctly, could take the W on the day here. I would always be very weary of the dart here. Hanging in and amongst the pack, as he is most definitely just waiting for the time to pounce. Been almost unstoppable in the races that he's jumped into. Although we've said that the last couple of weeks, and he's been caught out by riders who have gotten away or in the sprint with the timing of the sprint. So we'll have to see if the dart here from Team Draft can make things happen. He is very isolated on the day as well. I'm not seeing any other Team Draft riders amongst the pack here. So going to be perhaps a little more difficult, and going to have to close down every one of the gaps as they do start to develop. He is making maybe a little bit of mistake here, not staying on top of the attacks at the front, maybe just trusting that the riders who are around him are strong enough to keep things together. That perhaps is the marking of 1 or 2 riders a lot of times is what you'll do, knowing that they can always pull things back together if they're the ones that you are racing, and not concerned of those who do go off the front. But with Fusion in amongst the group here, they've seemed extremely aggressive, and they seem to have the power. We do see Metcalf here going off the front, though, from the A category here, 178 beats per minute. Price here following it up from Fusion. They might be one of these situations where they just kind of roll off the front as things are calmed down. Pierre Ficati here toward the front. CVR Vegas winner, as you can see, 3.4 watts per kilogram coming out of Canada. Everything's fairly calm at this point, though. It does not look like anyone is too worked up. But at 178 beats per minute, maybe just a little bit out of shape. But Knudsen here, 181 as well. Things must have been a little bit harder than I perceived as they came through a few of these rollers here. Fusion, 162. Metcalf, 178. Patterson, 164. Stevie Young here, 165. Everybody at a tempo or higher pace right now. Definitely working hard Not really through attacks, it looks like, but mainly just because the pace has been set incredibly high toward the front end of this race as they come through these rollers now. Looking through here, a couple more comments that are in the chat now. Stefan Medi Ujwa saying, we expected more breakaway, but Peloton goes faster than before. It's a good comment there, Stefan. WTRL will stop using double draft. I think some of the comments have been that, and this is a great, some feedback, I think, that about double draft. I enjoy double draft personally. I would definitely be using it to my full advantage if I were a part of a team or any kind of situation to try and get away. It can be very frustrating, though, if riders do not work with you to try and make that happen. At the same time, I have heard a lot of feedback about the pack traveling perhaps a little bit too fast. And so maybe the dynamics of the group and how quickly it proceeds, how quickly the speeds of a pack and how quickly it can build up its speed on each other perhaps needs a look. But that is definitely I believe a long process of testing. But I would have to agree that could have a couple of little tweaks here and there so that you get the double draft, and then the speed of the pack not being quite as high would definitely cause more dynamics and more tactical moves being able to be opened up in each of the races. Looking through a couple more, lots of comments coming through here now, specifically on the double draft. Steve the Power Young for the win. Team Innovation, Gavin, Joe Richardson letting us know. And we'll have to see. We haven't seen, I'm going to look through on the results recently for Stevie. He's been in a lot of these races recently. I'm not sure he's been able to pull off too many W's, at least in the broadcast that we've had. But he definitely is winning the Winter Team Race League, though. He's got a win there. The WBR 3 laps. He took his second, though, in the KISS Europe race back on the 30th, which we did broadcast. WBR looks like 1 lap he took a win in. So maybe a little bit of poaching of those WBRs. WBR 3 lap, as well as on the 22nd and the 19th. While Hooligan Super League, a third back then on that volcano. That was a climbers race. So Stevie able to take that third place is a pretty big result, actually, being more of a sprinter, averaging 4.4 watts per kilogram for the duration of that race. Looks like taking the W in the WTRL League race, actually, with 4.1 watts per kilogram, with a solid 10.5 watts per kilogram for a 15-second sprint. Stevie Young here, we've seen as high as 16.1 watts per kilogram, though, from him for 15 seconds. But for the duration of the race, in order to make that happen, 3.7 watts per kilogram, it looks like, for the duration of that race in a 20-kilometer race. What kind of effort does he have to put out? The other riders maybe have to be thinking about, softening up the legs a little bit, especially those who do have a larger team out there today, as I believe he is fairly isolated on the day in this race, as I do not believe there are any other innovation riders from what I can see in this league group to support the likes of Steve Young. So definitely going to, perhaps going to have to put in too much effort on the day and not have the support that he would need to have that kind of sprint at the end. Now, what I am interested in here for sure, though, is going to be whether or not this man can suffer. When he did win the CVR Las Vegas race, the initial race in the CVR World Cup, the first race ever in it, he went off the front on Richmond for a full lap, was almost caught by the llama at the line. It was literally so close at the line, we had to go to the replay in order to figure out what had happened. A wheel length was all it was, but he went off the front, held on to it for a 20-some minute lap out on Richmond. Pierre Fricati knows how to suffer here. And, we'll have to see if he does have the sprint, though, at the end. Is, being more, I think, of a climber and a threshold type rider. We'll have to see if he does have the power at the end, though, to pull off a sprint. But I think that is a good call, though, for Stevie Young, perhaps from Innovation as a favorite on the day. But we'll have to see if he's able to pull it off with the kind of power he's got to put out throughout the race. Looking at the totals here so far in the race, we are seeing a solid 4.1 watts per kilogram, so already on the averages being pretty high, Currently, the highest average in the race is going to be about 4.7 watts per kilogram from Fabian that we were looking at there a moment ago coming out of Belgium for the BZR cycling team. Fusion actually with Johan Price Pearson here with a solid 4.9, being the highest watts per kilogram so far. No Zada badge on the Danish rider, so we're going to have to maybe have a quick look at the rider for a Zada badge if he does end up over the top of some of the limitations that Zada puts on the results. It looks like maybe perhaps being a newer rider as well to the world of Zwift racing. We'll definitely take a look and see where things are at. It's only a compliment, though. If you do get nabbed by Zada saying, man, you are crazy strong. And it is looking like, if I'm seeing here, out of Denmark, Fusion is FTP of 420 watts, age 19. And according to the profile that I'm looking at here, it looks like most likely, if I am able to find the attached profile to Strava, it looks like it does race in real life fairly seriously, as I am seeing a TT profile, or TT picture here from what looks to be a real life race with some fairly serious signage all around it. So if anybody does have information on Johan Price, let me know, as I may be missing an up-and-coming professional U23 rider at this moment. So Adderman here now, we're seeing C. Ward Lawler going off the front as well. Ward here with the attack. We went through one of the rollers here about halfway through the race at this point, a little over halfway through the race, and Ward definitely on the attack, able to get a little bit of a gap between him and the rest, but it might just be what opens things up for the riders at this point to counter, as it isn't enough to really break things apart too much. Liam Bard now following up, coming from the race 3R team. It looks like Price here now, we were just speaking about using that drafting power up. Now, Price not having a heart rate monitor on is also unable to win the race today. Heart rate monitors are required in the A category, so it'll be a solid effort for him. You will be able to support Fusion on the day here, but will not be able to take the W outright, not having a heart rate monitor on. Seeing the super high RPMs there as well sometimes is a little bit of a sign either of somebody who's extremely disciplined when it comes to the cadences, or a lot of times it is speaking of a relay from a certain kind of a trainer that is reading the RPMs differently than others. So good luck to Fusion, though, out there, and he will be able to support the team, but will not be able to take the W, it looks like, with a couple of those flags there, especially being just the heart rate monitors. That is across the board. Heart rate monitors are required to win the races. But we'll keep an eye on Fusion out here. Definitely have showed up in force, as we were saying. Love to see that. And it looks like Nielsen here, 161 beats It doesn't look like they're going to be making their way to the front again, perhaps for another attack. They did attack very early on in the first couple of laps here. Maybe in the last few laps here, we might see another attack, not looking for a sprint finish. If they can send a few off the front here, work together with that double draft to make something happen. A-Low here from Finesse now. Maybe the last Finesse rider left in the group. Going to keep eyes on that and see if that is what Johnny Rocket looks like. He has made it still as well. Looking through some of the riders here, I believe it's just going to be Johnny Rocket and Alan Lowe. Most likely have Alan setting up Johnny for the sprint. So I do know that Johnny does have a solid sprint, and perhaps that is the tactic there from Team Finesse. Let's go ahead and see what's happening with the B category. We've left them alone for quite some time so far, and it does look like we do have A. Davies leading things out amongst the lead group, I believe, in this B category. And as you can see, there toward the front end of this, still a large group. Not really too many attacks as I can see. A few of the A category riders have made their way back into this group, so plenty fast today in this B category. We do see Oxenham hanging out here out of the UK, 347 watts. Now D. Gray along with Mosback from Vision. Vision showing up in force, it looks like, with Morgan here out of Australia now on the attack at 341 watts, 5.2 watts per kilogram. Oxenham seeing that this might be a little bit of attack, 4% gradient, as you can see. The riders do feel that in the game. C. Beezer again here from Finesse, making his way to the front. Has his wife made it to this section is going to be the question for me, if they're going to be able to make some in-house tactics. Curtis Beezer there is Kim Beezer. I do see Kelly Hart still in and amongst the lead pack here, riding for CLS. So that'll be a battle here for Kim. It does look like Moin Moin there coming out of Denmark. Kim Beezer, yes, still in amongst, certainly currently sitting in third place then. Sylvie Holmes then in fourth amongst the women, and will be Ina Midji, fifth place currently, and I believe in one of the chase groups in this B category. Moving forward, though, I do not believe Kim has been able to hang on to the pack, as I am seeing a solid 1 minute gap, I believe, between herself and that lead group. So Kelly Hart, then it looks like, is going to be leading things out for the women's race in the B category, 2:55 behind the A category. There is about to the chase group right now, it looks like about a 1.5 minute gap actually, and in that chase group it will be Moin Moin, and then it looks like Kim Beezer somewhere around there. Yeah, Kim Beezer hanging on with that, about a minute behind that pack, actually currently sitting in third place in the third chase group. So but it looks like Kurt's going to make up for that, currently leading things out in this B category. As you can see, Saunders is there as well, M. Martin. Huge group, though, as I look through the results currently. I mean, we're looking at, if I can do math correctly, as we look at ZwiftPower.com, from 50 all the way down through, it looks like 92. So 42 riders currently hanging out in this B category lead group. So not too much pressure being put on the rest of the peloton at this point. Double Draft not doing a whole lot of good, it looks like, at this point for the B category. A little bit too calm for them, from what I can see. Perhaps as maybe the level of attack that can go off of the front, is not quite as high, or perhaps not as quite as much organization in the B category as we do see in the A's. I do see a little bit more seriousness. Maybe that's not the right word, but definitely organization amongst the A categories, actually, when it comes to the team dynamics and looking for those W's. Things have definitely calmed down, though, in this front group right now. Nobody really wanted to do much of anything with just one lap, I believe, to go out here. We are seeing T-Vest, Evola here, Poison Dart now, all very calm. 152, 179 from Knudsen here, maybe just on the climb, looking to fade climb. As they're coming up over the top, this little hump here. And Bard Young, 162, not really too much of an effort at this point. So as things are calm at this point in the race, let's go ahead and see what things are happening here over on the social media here. Good evening, Nathan, coming from Lewis Dinsdale. Good to see Lewis Dinsdale hanging out in the broadcast. Long-time viewer. Good to see. Let's see, Szymanski's in here as well. Dunesdale now also chatting a little bit about the 420 FTP. We'll have to see. Pro Cycling Stats here coming through from Matt Sinclair. That is extremely helpful. And we'll have to see if perhaps we can get some of those from Johan Price, as we are seeing that perhaps we might have jumped the gun just a little bit there. And he is actually riding for a up-and-coming pro team, perhaps. I'll have to take a look here. Riding for, it looks like, Colo Quick, 19 years of age. Looks like real life did do world championships, actually, U23 individual time trial. So that looks to be the picture, actually, in his profile over at ZwiftPower.com. So definitely a serious rider. Let's get a heart rate monitor on that rider, and we'll be able to, get some Zada verification as well. Nobody gets a free card. That is definitely something up front that from the first day of Zwifting, I was vehement about. I don't care who you are. Like, if your trainer is off, your trainer is off. Like, it don't matter. Like that's one thing that I see from the community a lot, where how am I going, the starstruckness of the of individuals in the community that take the professional peloton and put them on this pedestal, right? That they're up over here, right? And well, that's a professional, so everything's got to just be all right. It's like, dude, numbers are numbers, man. And if like, just because like surely so-and-so can do whatever because they race this race, it doesn't matter. What matters are numbers. What matters is the science of it. What matters is the reality of what the trainer is putting out in that specific situation. And you know, even if somebody could do something, that doesn't mean they're doing it right now. That's the other thing. Like, sure, that number might be really great, but does that actually mean that that trainer is communicating the effort correctly too? So there's a lot there to deal with. You know, just because the pro status, it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't need to get checked out. And so everybody needs to get their verifications for sure is what I'm getting at there. So, but thanks a lot for the connection there, Matt Sinclair. Good to see Johan jumping in here. And now he's going to have to jump a little bit harder, it looks like, here as Grimshaw and Purificati are trying to get off the front as we are heading into the final Ks of the race here. Purificati 3.9 watts per kilogram. Grimshaw now 3.7. So it looks like calming down. 184 beats per minute. Purificati definitely motivated on the day. Jiri going right along with him. 2-second gap here. Zaki from WBR trying to follow up. Fusion now. Dan Fleeman now seeing that this might be a moment of truth for the race here. 7.3 watts per kilogram. 176 beats per minute. Dig Deep Coaching wanted to let us know DDC toward the front that they have shown up to race. Talbot trying to follow things up, but not going to close them down on his own as he does have an ODZ team member up front. Stevie Young just following with being the only innovation rider in and amongst the group. Tobo now, again, with the counter maybe from Fusion. No, Fusion not going anywhere just yet. Alo controlling things for the Rocket, who is Johnny, toward the back of the pack right now. Finesse letting their presence be known and controlling the race at this point, it looks like here. Greenhog now toward the front. It looks like out of the UK, riding unattached without a team member. Going to want to probably make sure he's somewhere within the top 3 wheels throughout the rest of the race as they do head their way toward the second half of this lap here. Dam now coming out of Denmark now, 3.0 watts per kilogram. As you can see, pretty chill though, or maybe not so chill. No hurry monitor on him, so unable to take a W on the day, but might be able to be the first one across the line. Patterson now 2.9 watts per kilogram toward the front. Price again here. U23 riders we did here. Wonder where the RPM. Maybe he just loves the spin to win here. I mean, those are super high RPMs as you can see, but maybe being a time trial specialist as he was at the World Championships as a part of the U23 individual time trial, actually took a 31st actually at those World Championships. So cool to see that he is out here. Perhaps be able to get him off the front might be a winning move at this point, but he's got to go now. Not able to take the official win without the hurry monitor, but might be able to be just the first bike across the line, which would be cool for Team Fusion. M-Dam now coming across to the front. Turnstream is here as well. Lots of Danish flags, it looks like here, and the odds of it being someone out of Denmark are extremely high actually here. Fleetwood now still in it, looks like here from Vision. Most likely going to find himself a lot of times unable to hang on, but perhaps today will be different for the Vision cycling rider. Basalt's now kicking it up into 8.3 watts per kilogram, suddenly finding himself from the C category in amongst the race, trying to make a show for it now. Now we are seeing Knudsen starting to go here. Bard now going as well. Here's an attack here coming from Fremley. Now Basalt's trying to lead things out for the racers, as you can see. Pearson now going 8.7 watts per kilogram, as you can see. The Price trying to get away from the rest of the group. Fleeman now following things up very closely here with a couple of riders as obstacles in and amongst the group as we come into, I believe, 1 to go. I believe this is going to be 1 to go. This is not a full-on attack at this point, so I believe they're going to have this climb and then 1 more to go after this. Bard now 7.4 watts per kilogram. As you can see, MD coming through, following things up. 4% gradient now. Fremley now Fusion, as you can see. Russell there going right along with it. 181. All the heart rates high. They are feeling this climb, and this may be a point of continuance from some of the riders that may be able to get rid of a little bit of the pack fodder toward the back of this pack at this point. Keep things a little bit lower on the number so that the speed of the pack doesn't come through quite as fast. Vegan Cycling's here. Hashtag bro, trying to make it to the front as well and not get dropped off from the pack. Perks here just barely hanging on. Looks like Johnny Rocket from Finesse now holding on along with M-Dam, but now falling off the back just a little bit there. Rocket's going to have to really make something happen to stay with this here. Trujic now falling off, it looks like, part of the D category though, so was off from the get-go. Nielsen here from Fusion. along with Fleetwood at the back. The attacks have stopped. Has someone snuck off the front? Does not look like it. Things have calmed down completely again. The Dart is still in there. Always a favorite for the win from Team Draft now. Let's see how things are happening over at chat here. Who's going to take the W? Will it be Fusion? Will it be Innovation with Stevie Young on that solo ride on the day? Will Finesse be able to make something happen? Is Johnny reserving at this point? You know, it is an uphill sprint though. It looks like for the finish. So it's going to be a difficult day here, I think, for anybody who does not have the solid watts per kilogram. It's not going to be all about pure power on the day on this little bit of an uphill climb. It's going to be about speed and timing, though, too. If this is the finish that I think it is, we have this downhill gradient that goes into a little bit of a valley. A lot of speed is carried into there, and we have seen a lot of riders win simply off of the speed that is carried into that valley with a lower watt per kilogram kick on the uphill, but it's not about watts per kilogram always, and that is the cool thing that we see in Zwift here that's just like in real life. It's about speed. Everybody's so, you know, we're all so fixated on our FTPs and our watts per kilogram because it says so much about our personal fitness, but when it comes to racing is about speed and results of the position across the finish line. And because of that, it's all about how fast you can take that speed and use that watts per kilogram and use the dynamics of the group to be the first one across the line. And if you are able to perfectly time on that downhill through that pack, using the speed of the pack, kick it down through that valley with as much speed as possible, you can then take that speed onto that uphill and come flying right on by some of the other riders who didn't kick their watts per kilogram up, didn't kick their speed up enough prior to that climb, and you come right on by with only 9 watts per kilogram. We saw that last week, actually. Someone had 14 watts per kilogram, another rider 9 watts per kilogram, but timed it so perfectly with the dynamics of the speed in the group that they came flying by on the finish line with only 9 watts per kilogram. So it is really about the skill of racing out on Zwift as well. Chris is saying that she calls Young. Young will take it. I think Thomason is saying as well. Basalt's for the A. Michael says that even though he's not actually racing here. I so wish the watcher accounts had a distance counter for those of us forced to watch on mute while we were. Oh, Marty, you know that is a great great comment, Madi, and perhaps one that we need to write down, actually. So we'll try and get something along those lines here for you, as I do believe there are going to be more and more things for broadcast actually coming down the line. We do see Knudsen here, 6.4 watts per kilogram on the front. Good to see. We can also turn on our we have had closed captions in the past. We could turn those on real small at the bottom, unless they're too distracting. But if we can, we you know, maybe we'll have a vote about that on the ZCL Facebook page. Let us know. We'll give an example of what it looks like maybe in a recorded video. And if you like the closed captions, we could add them to the bottom of the broadcast if a lot of people do enjoy having those, as it is something that we can do here at ZCL. Knudsen here with a little bit of tack off the front, 197 beats per minute. Shut it right on down. Thorgensen here now from DBR, and it looks like he's giving a little bit of a dig. Nope, just making sure nothing's going anywhere. We'll give him a ride on, though, for the effort. Bergen has been always a threat. Watch out for him in the sprint. Not sure he'll take the W, but now Knudsen again goes 197 still. Knudsen absolutely just burying himself on these uphills. Does not want to sprint, wants to get away. TT effort to the line is what this rider is looking for. 5.9, 6.6 watts per kilogram. Pierre Fricati now wants to go as well. Does not want to sprint either, it looks like here. Grimshaw going right along with him out of the UK. Low here from Finesse. Wanted it to be a sprint perhaps for Johnny Rocket. Hanging on to the wheel, not letting the group go anywhere. The Dart now going as well. It looks like 10 watts per kilogram coming from him, as you can see. All of the big names now making their way to the front. Stevie Young is what we're being told is the favorite to win from a few of the from the peanut gallery out here, but not sure if that's what's going to be going down here. We'll have to see. And it looks like at this point it's all back together. Dig Deep Coaching still in amongst it here. A little bit of a break though. Where is Fusion? Fusion's being left in the the dust here, it looks like now. They were a huge part of this race here. Only Nielsen, though, toward the front. The Dart now, again, kicking 177 beats per minute. Now Talbot from ODZ working for his man Pierre Ficati, looks like here. Finesse still in amongst it. Where is Johnny Rocket? I said he was the favorite, but Alan Lowe, maybe the new team leader here. Bergen now from Vikings now making his way to the front, 193. Look at these heart rates. You know that these riders are demolishing themselves just to hang on, and it's all strung out behind here. The main group has made it, as you can see here, a little bit of a gap now, 1 or 2 biting the dust off the back. Vegan Psych is still able to make it in there. Fleetwood now 3 seconds off the back. That group is gone if they work together. Pierre Ficati's 5 watts per kilogram just to hang on for a moment. C. Ward now dragging the group up at 8 watts per kilogram, 38 miles per hour. It's all about that speed here, and a C rider moving his way backwards there, it looks like, through the group, just being an obstacle at this point. Pierre Ficati still hanging in here. Bard's there as well. Low from Finesse now toward the front, always making sure he's within that top 3. It looks like definitely wants results, as we can see. And it will be Dam back toward the front now. Lawler now always rotating in those top 3 at the most crucial moments now. And Lawler, a rider I'm not super familiar with. We're going to have to be watching out for him. Maybe a dark horse on the day. Price, Pierre Tierson now, it looks like up in the 8 watts per kilogram, giving a little bit of a kick as they make their way toward the line now. Bergen now 5.1 watts per kilogram from Tobel as well. Deep coaching making his way. Everybody's starting to ramp up. You can tell they're getting extremely anxious, making sure that nobody gets caught out at the front end of this race. But so many watts being thrown down just to be toward the front of this race. At this point, I have a feeling it's going to be those that are playing it really smart. I'll be watching out for Vegan Cyclist here. 181 beats per minute, 183, 184, making sure he does not get left in the dust. Here's Turnstrom now, calming it right on down. Here comes an arrow power up now, though, from who is that? Is that Tobel? No, with an arrow power. Messinil, no, here we go. It looks to be the sprint now, and here goes Tobel with a crazy 11 watts per kilogram. Extremely early. All the arrow power is being blown. Pierre Ficati now going. Watch for Pierre Ficati to take the W. We called it earlier, but no, the Dart, the Frog is on his way, pouncing, leaping his way forward. 15 watts per kilogram from the Frog. Is he going to make it to the line? And the Frog, it looks like it was the Dart across the line, leaps his way forward and takes it down for draft. Let's take a look at that again. I believe it was the Frog. One more time, though, as that was absolutely insane as far as the speed at which that he was able to jump there. And it looks like from this moment, Pierre Ficati coming through at the lead now, and then Messinil jumping at that 15 watts per kilogram, as you can see, coming across, comes by at that 14 watts per kilogram, coming through, though, Nielsen with 12, as you can see, almost able to make it happen, but not quite. Nielsen, Levert was Young, almost able to come by there right at the end, but not quite. Let's take a look real quick here, reverse that really quick, as I was not exactly sure what order they came in, though, and it looks like the Dart, then Lervsine, and then Stevie Young, almost able to make it happen with that feather power up, actually. Stevie Young, 16 watts per kilogram, but too little, too late, actually. Pierre Ficati almost able to make that happen, but was not able to pull it off in the end. What a race there in that A category. Pierre Ficati, the first one to go, actually, though, not being Pierre Ficati. A solid effort there from Fleeman to try and get across early. And then there's a couple of riders that went super early. Pierre Ficati followed it up there. Stevie Young right along with the Dart, though, able to take down that W. Shout out, though, to second place there with Lervsine there from, I believe it was Team Vikings there. Joan Gravdal, draft for the win. Everybody's saying I told you. Thank you there, coming from Leandro. Let's see the reaction here real quick from the chat. As we're looking through where are these B category riders? We've completely lost them. Lots of C category riders here, but somehow we have completely lost the B category. It looks like they've dropped a few riders off that we were following. We'll see if we can get the sprint here. Rasmussen now definitely usually one of the riders that's amongst the lead group. Lukaku's here as well from the KRT racing team. A few of the Fusion riders that did get dropped off in the A category early on have made their way into the lead group for the Bs here. So it's about to get ramped up. They're going to take this left-hand turn, I believe, here in just a moment, and people are going to start their attacks as we are heading into the final mile here. C. Thomas now sitting in 3.4.0 watts per kilogram. As you can see, Hawthorne there as well. Looks like from WBR. Beezer, Curtis Beezer, Kim Beezer's husband here actually did meet him over in Long Beach for the America's finals. And 3.2 watts per kilogram coming from him. We'll see if he can throw down and take the W out here today. Looks like it is going to be Hawthorne now making his way to the front. Saunders as well. Here comes the Aero Power-Ups, and it's going to be BRT now making his way to the front end of this race, leading things out. But as we saw earlier, it's not always the one that leads things out that does take the win, but he is getting a little bit of a gap here with that Aero Power-Up. He's going to have to hold on to this, though, have another kick. But here comes Martin. M. Martin here from AFC, really with a kick up in the 10 watts per kilogram, but no, it's going to be D. Gray, 8.7 watts per kilogram on the front of this race, though. C. Beezer, Curtis Beezer letting us know he's got the power, but Jay Lecoq coming across as well. D. Gray, it's going to be KRT, it looks like, across the line for the W. Solid result there for KRT. Jay Lecoq at the last moment able to throw down the power, it looks like, and take down that win. Solid result there for KRT. Let's see if we can get a quick little look here at that replay as they came across on the, and that is not the replay we're looking for. This is the replay that we're looking for. I'm yelling in the background here, but there we go. There is the move there from Beezer, who was leading things out. Jay Lecoq, though, comes across at the last moment with that Aero Power-Up. And as you can see, it's always that late speed that we've been talking about here from the rider who does wait for the perfect moment. And it does, 11 watts per kilogram coming from him. We are seeing a C rider in amongst there, so that's not going to matter so much, but it is going to be, it looks like, Davies from Innovation just getting the better of D. Gray there from VCN. So solid result there for those riders in that B category. So well done to all the racers there in this KISS racing out here today. Absolutely loving it. I need to figure out how to make it so that we don't hear Nathan twice there in the background when I bring the replays through. It's not actually supposed to be doing that. I believe I do have a setting on that says automatically mix audio. Turn it off and saving it right now, everybody, so you don't have to hear me screaming double time over the top of my own commentary on those replays. Apologies on that, everybody. Come on, Innovation in the Bees. Gavin Joe Richardson was saying almost. Let's go ahead and take a quick look here how it did play out there for the A category in the official, non-official results. Leandro Messineo here. This is our preliminary results. Solid result for him. Takes the W. Simon Nielsen, though, with that second place there from Fusion. Fusion able to pull something off even after all that work. Looked like they might not be able to be involved too much there, but definitely able to throw down that second place there. Stevie Young, good predictions all around for the win there, but not able to get the W, but able to get a podium still. Justin Purificati leading things out, fades back to fourth place for Team ODZ. Tom Grimshaw, always a force there. UK able to throw down a fifth place, riding unattached still. Long time Zwifter. Cool to see that he's out there still racing. Stian Lervseen there looks like coming through in sixth place. I swear I saw him higher up than that in the final there, but maybe I mixed them up. I'm going to double check that replay actually. I swear I saw Lervseen there come through, but perhaps I was incorrect on the placing there. Let's take a look at that replay one more time and see what was going on with this situation here. It looks like, to me, in this sprint here, Purificati leading things out, looking solid. Then we have Messineo timing it perfectly as he took that speed on through. Lervseen there, solid there, second place, third, fourth. So I was incorrect there. Nielsen was the one. I called Lervseen, but it was Nielsen. Excuse me. That was an incorrect call earlier on that replay there. So I thought it was Lervseen for some reason because he was involved so closely in the sprint there. So it was Nielsen, followed up by Stevie Young, who was almost able to take it down there, but just timed things just a little bit off on that sprint actually there. He was so close on that there. That is the A category results though. Leandro, Simon, followed up by Stevie, Messi Nielsen, and then Young. Draft, Fusion, Innovation in that order. In the B category, then, that we did see that sprinter was Jacques Lecoq there, coming from the KRT team, coming out of Canada. Andy Davies from Innovation for a second place. Solid result there. Almost made it happen there, Gavin Joe Richardson. And then Dan Gray, the unicorn from VCN there, it looks like. Matthew Martin, shout out for fourth, and James Hay there in fifth place. Also, Stuart Crawford, longtime Zwifter, sixth place on the day. Curtis Beezer, shout out to you, as well as Kim, as Curtis did come across the line, it looks like, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th place on the day. Kelly Hart takes the W there amongst the women in the B category. Shout out to Kelly Hart and making it happen for the women out there. Moin Moin looks like she's going to be taking second. Sylvie Holmes, as well as Ina Midgie, is going to be rounding things out. Kim Beezer perhaps taking third place on the day as soon as they do get across the line. Still a battle maybe to have between Kim and Moin out of Denmark. We'll have to see how that ends up playing out. Perhaps be able to hang out long enough. No, it looks like Moin will get the better of her across line, just finishing. Kim Beezer, I believe, will be taking down third place on the day. But shout out to Kurt and Kim racing together, most likely side by side, I would assume. We do not have those images, as I no longer have the correct spot out on Zwift to find them right now. Let's go ahead and see what everybody's saying here. The Pythons have flu. Oh, Stevie, are you out there racing with the flu? Kudos, man. Kudos. That's a big effort there, actually, if you're racing under the weather. Thanks for showing up and putting on a show still. Whew. And get some rest, man. Great stream racing. Johan, thanks a lot. Jonas, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Who is that with the feather against all those arrow helmets? Great sprint, Krista. That was actually Steve Young who came across with the feather. Amazing job to him. Jens Fried Rasmussen saying not a coffee ride. Looks like a super intense one, actually. I'm going to have to get out there and kill it in some racing pretty soon as well. What a sprint. Jacques Lewis Dinsdale saying wow, and definitely getting some kudos there. Quality timing, Leandro Chapeau, coming from Lewis Dinsdale. So all right, guys, thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate everybody there. Johan, thanks a lot. I appreciate the comments there as well. So for those of you who are wondering about the broadcast schedule, we were unable to reach that yesterday. It will be released shortly here after this broadcast, and be on the lookout for that. It is always pinned at the top of our Facebook as well as our Twitter if you are looking for it. It is the same as last week, except for we will have one extra broadcast besides the schedule from last week. So here's last week's schedule. Just go ahead and place in the dates. We had Kiss Europe, which I just did. SCR will be happening tomorrow, and then Kiss Europe on Thursday. So if you are looking for that, be on the watch out for that post. It'll be coming out soon, but we will also be having it in the pens added to the schedule. We're just looking for the right time slot. Be on the watch out for that. Not a racing broadcast, but a podcast type interaction live with all of you. It should be pretty exciting and fun for those of you who do enjoy those chats and interactions with the stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in. That's going to be it from me here at Zwift Community Live. Congratulations to all the racers as always, and as always out on Zwift. Right on. And where's my outro scene? My outro scene is completely missing. And why is my outro scene missing? There it is. All right, cheers everybody. Right on.